Hello, welcome back to Finn vs. History. As ever, I'm here with Horatio Gould.
Oh!
He's gone big. And
It's John Motson on
another one.
Oh!
What a goal. John Motson. We should do an episode on John Motson.
We should do an episode on John Motson. If we're talking about what is this podcast about, we're still finding that. We're still early days in this podcast. I feel John Motson really is. He encapsulates an element of this podcast.
He'd slot right in.
Oh!
Did he die?
He did die.
That's
yeah.
a shame. We should do the history of football commentary.
So he was a match of the day commentator. So you'd never see him. He would just be on one of the highlighted games. He would be doing commentary.
His thing was he had a big. He always wore sheepskin.
He wore sheepskin, but he just had a great reaction to goals going in. He couldn't believe it every time a goal went in.
It was like he'd never seen a goal.
It was always.
And then they score a goal.
Oh!
Oh my word! He scored! Oh.
It's like he didn't know that the rules were you could put it in the goal.
You can't do that.
Oh! But we're not here to talk about the history of John Watson, are we?
If only we were. We are back in the doldrums of.
Yeah. This is not Finn versus John Watson, is it?
No.
I'd watch that.
I'd watch that.
Now.
Yeah, give me ideas. It'd be funny if Finn versus Internet, Finn versus History, then Finn versus John Watson seems so uncalled for.
What, in Saudi Arabia is a big fight, like Fury Usyk.
Me versus the corpse of John Watson. No, we're talking about the golden age of Athens,
which I think the last episode potentially is the least informative we've ever done. It might be up there. I feel if you're knowledgeable at the time period, that might be the most infuriating one to, I think we said Pericles. He was important, and I think that was pretty much as we talked about Pericles.
I think we call them all paedophiles.
yeah, that's true. But we do that for every
like a stopped clock. We are right twice a day.
We're calling every historical figure a paedophile, and it happens on this time to be correct.
Yeah,
but we're here in the golden age of Athens. It's a flourishing of culture, art. There's been a lot of golden ages, but this one, why it captures the imagination so much is because so much of the stuff we still use today. Yesterday I passed a theatre that was doing Oedipus. They're still doing Greek plays. I mean,
still doing them.
Yeah. Kind of invented that shit. Greek philosophy invented the history of Western philosophy. So where all Western philosophy comes from, basically, is the Greek.
So basically, let's place this in context. It's the 5th century BC.
Right. So what that's after the invention of. This is maybe a tentative one. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say after the invention of the stool.
Yep.
Do you think so?
Yep, I think so.
We don't know.
Sorry, which stool do you mean?
Not.
Is it the type that the Greeks would put in a little office bin next to the toilet?
No, it's. Have you seen those stools that help you pass a stool?
Yes.
So
the steps.
The step.
Yeah.
So it's before that, but it's after the classic stool.
So it's before they'd worked out that if they put that stool underneath their feet, they'd have better shits.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So that places it. It's after the basic wooden stool, and it's before the help yourself shit stool.
Before toilets were invented, people defecated in a variety of places.
Open spaces. Well, I mean,
fields, forests, bushes,
rivers. That's nasty.
Streets.
I'd hate to be downstream from you, lot.
So open spaces, rivers, then cesspits.
Well, we talked about cesspits on the medieval episode.
Yeah, Middle Ages.
That was
grim.
The town,
fucking
sort of
grim.
like the watering hole. That was like a social place where everyone would hang out. Oh yeah, I'll see you down at the cesspit.
So I mean, and obviously we don't need to dwell on Greek plumbing anymore.
I mean, we maybe covered that last episode. We spent 35 minutes on that.
What I would say is that this is not a golden age for Greek plumbing.
No, but it's better than it used.
That age is yet to arrive. I would say the era where Greeks are knocking it out of the park in terms of sanitation. It's yet to come.
Okay, I'm not even responding to what you're typing up, Charlie, because I don't want to get too sidetracked.
Charlie, we're trying to get the history out. Okay, it's a fascinating period of history.
I think the Romans invented the latrine. The latrine.
The toilet.
I guess so.
Yeah.
It's a Roman toilet. I believe it was a very sociable time.
Okay.
Roman latrine. Here we go. Yeah. So this is what's interesting, right, about the Roman latrine.
It's like the long drops at Glastonbury, but with no barriers.
Yeah, so it was just a very I guess there wasn't any sort of shame about shitting.
You've got to remember that nowadays you get on the toilet, you get your phone out, you're WhatsApping while you're pooing.
Yeah.
These guys don't have WhatsApp, so they're just getting the groups together,
chatting,
going for a shit, chatting.
Well, if you're smart and you're ambitious, it's one of the best networking opportunities you can have. Like I would be just sat on the toilet all day, just seeing who comes through. Imagine the kind of people you'd meet.
That's true.
You know. Yeah. It's just a great way to meet someone.
Yeah, it is. But they would think, well, I'm not going to employ that guy because he's been on the toilet all day. he's clearly got something wrong with his bowels because he just spends his day shitting. So I'm not going to.
But would they know that it was?
You would be networking to not get a job because you would be seen as someone who had chronic bowel issues.
Yeah, why is that guy giving his business card all the time?
Yeah. Unless you had a variety of disguises.
Yeah. But this is not Finn versus latrines, is it?
God, stop giving me ideas.
This is Finn versus history, and more importantly, Finn versus the golden age of Athens.
Now, part of the reason it's called the golden age of Athens is the invention of philosophy.
Yeah.
Before this, no one really thought about anything more than can I eat that? Who's she? Does she want to fuck me?
Yeah.
I need a poo. That's
this is the invention of Western philosophy. So there's different schools of philosophies. You could argue in our idea of philosophy, it is only really Western philosophy, because I did read a book on how the world thinks and different schools of philosophy. There's sort of like, there's Indian philosophy, which is sort of like, I don't know, like Buddhism.
Zen Bobs.
Yeah. Yeah. There's Chinese philosophy, which is just Confucius saying, respect your mum.
Yeah.
That's kind of it.
Okay.
But Western philosophy is very different to any other philosophies because it's basically white guys going, but why?
But why?
But why?
But why?
But why? And other cultures, that's not how philosophy developed.
But is it like with Eastern, you know how Eastern medicine doesn't work?
Yeah.
Is it like that with Eastern philosophy?
No, because now Western philosophy is just a very has ended up being a very academic, organized, cerebral thing. It's less, I don't know, elemental, spiritual. Like Eastern philosophy, the idea that we're all one thing, right?
Yeah.
That you're not doing that in like wearing suits like this in an Oxford classroom, right?
No.
But it still has merit.
Because that's terrifying, because that means I'm the same as the specky kid at the back.
Exactly. Yeah. But instead, it's like a lot of Western philosophy at its most ridiculous.
Well, what I would say is that Western people do think that Eastern people are all one thing. I would say that.
I think you've misunderstood the teachings of Buddha.
Right.
So you think what he means is all Asian people look alike. Well, yeah, of course you think it's all one thing. You all look the same.
Yeah, of course that makes sense. That checks out. The Germans mainly think that everything comes down to fucking your mum, right? That's what Nietzsche.
Well, modern West philosophy, it's the main schools are French, which is they're trying to lower the age of consent.
Yeah.
German, which is kind of
MILFs.
I want to fuck my mum.
Yeah. The reason I'm not happy is that I'm not fucking my mum.
Yeah. And then English is just sort of like nerds
push
saying,
push it down.
Well, how do we know that's true?
Yeah.
Well, can you see it?
Yeah.
Well, do you know you could see it?
Yeah.
You know, it's people collecting stuff.
But the Greeks invented this idea of thinking about stuff.
Yes.
Beyond food and poos.
And modern West philosophy stems from Socrates and, more importantly, probably Plato, because Socrates didn't write anything down.
Yeah, so Socrates was the first philosopher that we know of. Kind
of like, was he even a philosopher or was he just a truly mental person?
I think he was just a bit of a prick. From listening to him, he was just a really annoying
historically guy. Ugly.
Get a photo of Socrates.
Stank.
He never washed. He never wore shoes either.
Never wore shoes.
Well, he's sort of like a hippie.
Yes, but he would just go around the Agora, which is the Greek forum. So just ask people, why do you think that?
Yeah.
You know what?
Why?
He was just causing a lot of trouble, right? Never wrote anything down though. So Socrates only really exists philosophically in the Platonic dialogue.
Get a photo of Socrates
in the Socratic dialogue.
That is,
He's fucked. Even in stone.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't look like a clever guy.
No.
The noise I'm imagining him saying, that's mainly, he's big. I mean, big fucker. He looks like sort of local in like a Cotswolds pub. Big beard.
Like he's doing a meat raffle, right?
Yeah. Leather vest, flat cap, small dog, little terrier.
But you know, people haven't really asked why that much. But I think it's, and we use this already, but a stop clock is right twice a day. That's Socrates. Yeah. He's just asking the same thing for everything and ends up coming across quite profound things.
So Socrates is the first guy who thinks,
even
though he looks like he's never had a thought in his life.
It's actually, there's pre-Socratic philosophers, but we don't really count them because they're even more fucked up than Socrates.
I see, okay.
So it's like Socrates is the beginning of, you can trace back philosophy that we use now to Socrates, basically.
And he just questions everything.
Why?
Why are you doing that?
But why does that happen?
Who are you?
But what happened before that?
Yeah. What
So
was before that? And what was before that?
And
he's a toddler, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And people thought he was a genius, but he
Right.
actually had like 14 IQ
Yeah.
because he got kicked by a goat when he was trying to fuck it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But then his student, Plato,
they put him to death.
yes,
Yeah.
for corrupting the youth.
But have you heard, yeah, and denying the gods.
Denying the
But have you
gods.
heard about what he does? He basically, they sentence him,
Yeah.
right? They sentence him and they say, how should you have an opportunity
Yeah.
to say what you think the punishment should be. And it's either death or exile.
Death or exile.
And he goes, I think you should give me a biscuit. Did you know that? He genuinely goes, yeah, I think you should let me out and I should have a biscuit.
Yeah.
No, what is it? Free lunches for life?
Yeah.
I think you should have free lunches for life.
Yeah.
And they go, no, it's death or exile. The guy was a cunt.
Yeah. And he had a lot of supporters.
Oh,
but
free
people-
lunches for life, actually. I think I should have a biscuit. He's a toddler.
Yeah.
You've just hit your sister.
Yeah.
Go and sit in the naughty step. I think I should have a biscuit. No, fuck you.
Yeah.
That's what he is.
And then they offered him exile or death, and he said, "Oh,
Death then.
death."
Yeah. And then they
The figure of Socrates was unattractive. He is said to have been short, fat, with a
malformed face.
However, he got married to a girl much younger than him. Oh yeah, Xanithope.
Well, when in Rome.
Yeah, when in
When
Greece.
in Athens.
So, and then his student Plato wrote down the Socratic dialogues, which is his dialogue with Socrates.
Yeah.
So Socrates is the character in Plato's philosophies, and that's how his thoughts sort of exist. So you don't really know who's
does
Plato's.
Plato have any of his own thoughts?
I think so. I mean, Plato's kind of the most important philosopher in some ways. It's hard to distinguish with what was Socrates just going, but why. Everything is footnotes to Plato, is what philosophers say, basically.
Right, okay.
And he wrote down.
What did Plato look like then? Is he any better?
Plato looks pretty fucking badass. He looks kind of dench.
Socrates' wife looks fit, but then that's clearly not her.
Yeah, what? That's like Plato, long beard. Yeah, he was kind of.
So they're barefoot guys.
Yeah.
They wear robes. They don't wear shoes. They fuck boys. And they think.
Yeah.
This starts in Athens because there's no real wars going on.
But before we go on to Plato, there's also pre-Socratic philosophers, right? So this is before people even thought why. Yeah. People like Diogenes. Right. So this is a guy who, these are like, the philosophers back then, they're sort of, clinically insane people, crossed with sort of performance artists. They're not writing stuff down.
Kim Noble.
Okay, exactly.
Yeah.
But can you count this as a philosopher if you're just barking at pigeons? Like, is that like, does that
What's
count?
That thing?
They're going into like a Wetherspoons with a shopping bag and shouting nondescript stuff.
Yeah, but don't people say that those people are like the happiest?
Well, yeah, maybe.
Well, so guy...
are you saying he's onto something?
So this guy's whole thing was that he wanted to demonstrate that wisdom and happiness belong to the man who is independent of society and that civilization itself is regressive.
So like the rules of society he wanted to constantly challenge.
Yes.
Right? So, he's pushing the line. He was a shot comic, right?
Yeah, right.
Jimmy
exactly.
Carr.
Yeah. And so he did this by...
He scorned not only family and socio-political organisations, but also property rights and reputation. He even rejected traditional ideas about human decency. In addition to eating in the marketplace, I mean,
Now, considering where we're going, that seems fine.
That seems, to me, that's all right. Yeah. So at the moment, I don't see anything. Diogenes is said to have urinated on some people who insulted him.
Yeah, right.
Defecated in the theatre.
Now, and masturbated in public and pointed at people with his middle finger, which was considered insulting. That's interesting. So that has been around longer than I thought.
But why is that fourth in the list that Wikipedia's just done?
Well, it must be really insulting.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't know why in the middle of there is defecated in the theatre.
Well, no, listen, wait. I would say in the order of these things that are bad, right? I'd say masturbating in public, big no-no.
Yeah, you can't be doing that.
Don't be doing that. Then I'd say urinating on people who insult you. That's not fair. That's not cricket. That is not cricket.
Yeah.
Then I would say doing that.
Yeah.
And then having a shit in a theatre is something I have done. And I'll be honest, I will, after 10 minutes of the play, I'll say, I need a poo. And I'll go and sit in the toilet and I'll wait for the play to blow over. And then I'll come out and say, I've got stomach trouble. I didn't swallow.
What's amazing about this is because I think a lot of the time it was like during the day, you're sat in the round. Lights aren't down. You're not in like a West End theatre.
It's an amphitheatre, isn't it?
It's open air. It's open air. So imagine how he's doing it. If I know Diogenes, as I do, he's pulling his toga up, and he's just blasting a hot load of shit down the steps, midway through a performance. So then, imagine how satisfying it would be to see all those Greek guys just scatter away from this one guy.
To be fair to him,
revealing this one guy just
he'd then wipe his arse and put it in a little bin.
Yeah.
To be fair to him, I don't think the Greeks have toilets in the theatre.
Yeah, so maybe it was less of a political point. It's more of a practical solution.
It's a plumbing issue. But also, do you think he shit in the theatre? Obviously, in front of everyone. People would say, "Don't do that. You're disgusting," and he'd then piss on them for calling him disgusting.
Yes.
And then give him the finger and start wanking.
But look, so it's controversial that clearly eating in public was a big no-no, but that's now fine. So I think he was breaking down some things, but it was sort of trial and error.
Well, I guess
some things were. Who could have? Maybe he thought potentially masturbating in public could have been a norm. To break down. It does
take one brave canary in the coal mine to find these things out.
Yeah. So
if eating in public, which is now considered, is it considered fine? I mean, obviously you go to restaurants and stuff, but like people eating on the tube, there is definitely something about hot food on the tube on the train.
Stinky,
stinky fish on the train.
Yeah,
that's a no-no.
Yeah.
It's still less of a no-no than jacking it.
Yeah.
On a
shitting in the theatre. Yeah.
Although I tell you what,
pissing on someone who doesn't agree with you, though, I do think there's.
I tell you what, here's my ranking. Right. So I'd go wanking on a train. Yeah. Train etiquette. Right. Wanking in a 4-seater table on a train. Right. No. Then eating stinky fish on a train. Mm-hmm. Then I'd go wanking in a 2 seats where you've got your bag on the other seat so no one's sitting there.
Yep.
I think eating fish that's hot is worse than quietly masturbating into like a corner seat.
How quietly?
Quietly.
Right. So is it in the quiet carriage?
It's not an ostentatious wank.
Right.
It's a quiet carriage wank.
Right. Fine. So you're just hearing a fabric rub. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's better than hot fish.
Yeah. Thank you.
If only it were as easy to banish hunger by rubbing my belly. So, wait, hold on.
That's what he said about wanking in public.
On the indecency of his masturbating in public, he's saying if only it was easy. Yeah, I guess that's a good point about masturbation. The difference is you can just sort yourself out.
You
don't need any apparatus.
So this guy is more annoyed at being hungry than he is horny.
Yeah.
Because to him, horniness, I'll just sort myself out.
Well, I guess he's more like, I wish filling yourself up would be as easy as coming.
Yes.
Like, wouldn't it be great if whenever you're hungry, you just...
But Greece it's not as if they don't have any food.
It's true.
But so anyway...
But also, just to prove how mad he was, if this isn't enough, when he'd go home at night, this is what I think almost undermines some of the points he's trying to make. Some of his Marina Abramovich style performance art pieces about society.
Yeah, Pussy Riot.
Shitting in a theatre.
Yeah.
He would go and sleep in a big jar. So
not jar?
Just a jar. Look, if you scroll down, he would sleep in like a big Greek jar.
A Greek jar?
You know those, like Hercules jars?
No. Like a vase?
Well, most of the stories about him living in a jar are located in Athens. Yeah. So, yeah, he would just go in like a big... I don't think you can see this, right? Imagine a massive jar.
Yeah.
He would just curl up and sleep in that.
But is the jar on its side, or is he climbing up to get in the jar?
I think he's climbing up and getting into it, right? I don't know, maybe it's on the side.
It's like an urn.
Yeah, he's like a snail.
Right, okay. So, but it just did say on that Wikipedia article, not to show the listeners behind the curtain, but he did just say that he hated Socrates, so he must be post-Socratic.
Yes, I guess contemporary, actually.
It's not pre-Socratic.
It's not pre-Socratic. They're both at the same time.
So this is a gold... So, yeah, it's funny that I guess some people in life, you could say, are followers of Diogenes.
Diogenes. Yeah.
And some people are Socratic.
Yeah.
In that some people get annoyed asking annoying questions. Why? Who are you? Why? Some people just go, fuck that, I'm just going to jack it in public.
Yeah.
I'd say on the spectrum, I'd more towards Diogenes.
Yeah, I think I'm more Socratic, that's...
Yeah.
But
little and large, yin and yang, Dwight York and Andy Cole. Needs a bit of both. But it's a spectrum, isn't it?
Yeah.
You'd say it's a spectrum of personalities.
But you can trace Western philosophy from this point, It makes sense, doesn't it, that it started with a guy shitting in a theatre.
Exactly.
It lands with Freud saying, you want to fuck your mum. There's a line that you can draw.
I'm more into visceral philosophy than I am the thinky type. I like the idea that everything is motivated by the melancholy feeling you get that wanting to fuck your mum, but you can't.
Yeah.
There's probably a German word, ironically, for that feeling.
Yeah, Aufschietenflaschen.
Aufschietenflaschen.
Mammes fluten.
The bitter melancholy, the longing to fuck your mum, even though you know. So that's Diogenes.
Should we go back to Plato?
But Plato's the guy, and he writes down everything that Socrates said.
Yes.
He doesn't write anything about Diogenes.
No.
And if he had, then maybe we'd know more about him.
Yeah.
And so Plato's Republic.
Well, I mean, because the Socratic dialogue was this intellectual conversation where Socrates would ask why and Plato would explain why. I don't know if you could have a Diogenetic dialogue.
Look what he's doing. That guy just did a shit.
I don't know if that would translate
no, probably not.
on the page as well.
Yeah.
And then I asked Diogenes, what do you think about the idea of aesthetics in art?
Yeah.
Diogenes proceeds to shit in the theatre. That's what I think.
Now, see, I do think that, though. What do you think of this play? I'm going to do a shit. That's what I think of this play. So, now, interesting, I know there'll be ancient history nerds. In my opinion, you're the worst type of nerd. You'll be commenting saying, all this stuff happened after the fall of Athens. We know. Obviously, we're going to get to that. We're rushing around in a non-linear time. But the philosophers sort of, they start in the Athens Golden Age. Ancient... Right. So hang on.
We nearly got onto something, but we're going to stop.
Charlie has just revealed...
Breaking news.
Ancient Greeks primarily clean their bottoms using broken pieces of pottery called pesto, which essentially acted like a rough scraping tool to remove fecal matter after defecation. These shards were often repurposed from old ceramic vessels found around their homes. And then it says, key points about ancient Greek bum cleaning. Well, thank fuck someone's steering this ship. Thank fuck we're not talking about philosophy and we're back to how Greeks clean their bums with pottery.
I imagine it's sort of like you're a news reporter and this is just
in. Take a
Greeks use broken pottery to clean their asses. Yeah, it's looking less like a golden age the more we dwell on it, doesn't it? I think it's quite an overrated era.
Do you know what?
It's quite shitty.
You know how they say the things the ancient Greeks did stay with us? They've never worked out how to wipe their ass.
This has always been their Achilles heel.
Always been their Achilles, their bum.
It's their Achilles arsehole.
Achilles bum. They don't know what to do. They know how to think.
Yeah.
They know how to fucking cook.
Get in the toilet. They fucking no idea.
No idea. And that's why they need the EU. Left to their own devices, they will wipe their ass with shards of pottery.
I just feel so. You're out of toilet roll.
Sorry, evidence for this practice comes from archaeological digs where these pottery shards have been found in ancient Greek latrines. I think that archaeologist is quite similar to me in that he'd have gone, I reckon they wipe their ass for that. Because that's tangential at best, isn't it? Oh, there's pottery in the toilet. Do you reckon that maybe there was a ceramic? Nah, they wipe their ass for that. These filthy Greek cunts, they wipe their ass with the pottery, I reckon.
I'm sorry, the rough edges of the shard were used to scrape away waste.
There's no way they can know that. That's like finding a stack of, auto traders in our toilets now in 2,000 years' time and going, they wipe their ass with car magazines. Do you know that? They used auto traders. They use yeah, but so Greeks also smash plates.
They use
all the
a Le Creuset set.
Do you know what? Do you reckon that's why at a wedding they smash plates so that everyone can then go and wipe their asses?
But what I find funny is look, we've all been caught short where you go in a public toilet and there's no toilet roll. Yeah. To them, they just find the nearest jar.
Smash it.
They grab one. Is there just loads of jars in public toilets just waiting to be smashed?
Right. The Greeks they love smashing stuff. Don't they?
Yeah.
They smash plates at weddings. Why do they do that?
Is that a Greek thing?
Yeah.
I thought it was like Jewish. Yeah.
No, the Jews get people on the
chair.
Ceramic materials may have damaged the butt. Yeah, no shit. Over time, causing skin irritation and external hemorrhoids.
Now, how long do you think it would take them for them to work that out? Why do I keep getting hemorrhoids? Maybe it's because you're cleaning your ass with pottery. Maybe that's why. Because you wipe your ass with fucking basically sandpaper.
Jesus Christ.
I think I could have found better things. Like leaves, guys?
Isn't it mad that the kiln was invented before toilet paper?
Yeah.
Because in order to...
That's literally one of the last things I'd use to wipe my ass.
A broken pot. Yeah.
That really is.
I guess it just goes to show that even in golden ages of thort,
golden ages from the eye of the beholder. If you're in a latrine, I'm like, this is not a fucking. These are not thinkers.
Bad time to live in. So, what were we talking about before you brought up
Plato?
Plato, and then the other one was
Aristotle. Right.
Who is Plato's?
So
lover?
Plato is.
Are they all fucking each other? Is that why?
They do, but they're not. You're misunderstanding. It's not a gay thing.
I'm not saying it's gay.
Yeah, they're not lovers.
It's neutral.
They're just having a bit of to be honest, rumpy-pumpy, and I wouldn't normally use that word, but that's what it was.
They're just getting each other off.
They're getting each other off, but it's just like, it's like we're going to go for lunch after this, right?
Yeah.
It would be like, we'll just...
What do you say lunch is, though? Lunch is, for me, is eating food.
But I'm just saying, if we were Greek philosophers...
Yeah.
We've done work this morning, right? We've done a couple of hours work.
Yeah.
To release the stress after lunch, we all bum each other.
Right.
But it's not like a weird thing.
That is increasing my stress levels now. And who's bumming who?
Well, does it? You know,
is it old? Is it?
Who bummed each other yesterday? We'd have a rota.
Is it a pull rank system?
Yes, you would be able to. So you'd probably be able to decide. You'd probably do most of the bumming, to be honest.
Oh, okay, that sounds fun.
Yeah. Because I think the teacher would bum the student. Though I did read somewhere that a lot of the time it wasn't just bumming. They'd rest their penis betwixt the arse cheeks.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah, so it wasn't like always like shagging. It would just be like a.
Is that a thing to be like? Look how much self-restraint I've got.
Maybe
that I'm cradling my cock in between a man's bum cheeks and I'm not bumming him.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess maybe it's just sort of like leaning your head on their shoulder. It's like just a
shoulder to cry on, arse cheeks to rest your cock on.
Yeah, well, yeah, you can say if you're a good friend.
Right. Can we get back to the philosophy?
Yeah, but it's like if you're a good friend and you say, "I'll always be a shoulder to cry on." Yeah, I'll always be an arse to rest your cock in. Yeah, it's a nice little thing.
So that's Aristotle, I guess.
No. So Socrates taught Plato, Plato taught Aristotle, and Aristotle taught Alexander the Great. So Alexander the Great had Aristotle shipped in because he was the smartest guy to teach
Alexander the Great took different things.
What was interesting is that you could trace a real lineage from Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle, where it's a development of philosophy. It's quite a clear, distinct development. Aristotle then taught Alexander the Great, and he was like, well, we'll just kill loads of Middle Easterns.
Just go and kill the Turks, right?
No, I'm saying it's about how we perceive reality. No, okay, so just kill as many people as possible. Yeah. No, you're not listening to me, Alexander.
That's the lesson I'm getting. Kill everyone.
Yeah, brilliant. It's like Hitler reading Nietzsche.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I get it, yeah. Just kill all the gypsies. No, you don't even use those words.
So,
but they were very different philosophers, Aristotle and Plato.
But philosophy starts in...
Right. Aristotle violently rebelled against his master Plato on, among other things, the matter of pedestritic paedophilia. Right.
So Aristotle's like, do you know what? I'm going to...
I've had enough of this.
What's that thing about how abuse runs in cycles? You have to stop toxic...
generational trauma.
Generational trauma.
Yeah.
So there's a bit like a Russian doll of bumming in that Socrates bummed Plato.
Yeah.
Plato then tried to bum Aristotle and he went, the cycle ends here.
And then, because he didn't bum Alexander the Great killed genocided loads of Persians.
Anyway, they're all paedophiles. I think, as an expert take, they're all paedophiles. But again, we're saying paedophile with the pejorative it has now.
Mm-hmm. So Plato wrote... he did loads of stuff, but like The Republic is a very famous work of Plato. The idea of the philosopher king. So his idea of the perfect society, right, is that you'd have like 5 kids who were raised to be the perfect leaders, right?
Yes.
Which is kind of what British society was like for ages, right? You'd go to Eton, Oxford, all of that stuff. That's quite philosopher king. Inspired by that, where you basically just raise them.
Well, like trickle down philosophies, and you have really intelligent guys, and that trickles down to the sort of.
But you just thought, like, if you just start people being raised, the best education, learning everything they should, then they'll be good leaders, basically.
Right. Okay. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of was one of those things.
But you always gone about this, the cave.
Yeah.
Which is from the Republic.
This is much more about like. This is pure philosophy. So this is not political philosophy. This is not from the Republic. This is how we perceive reality. So this is, and. All right, so his idea is there's always... So let's take the pocket pussy, right?
Yeah.
When you see a pocket pussy...
Yes.
You're seeing a form of the pocket pussy, which is a form of the perfect ideal of the pocket pussy.
It's a bit like how Hoover is actually the brand name for a vacuum cleaner.
I guess so.
So when you look at a Hoover, you're looking at a vacuum cleaner, but you call it a Hoover even
Plato says most people are sheeple, right? And what you're watching, when you see anything...
He meant cum socks.
Yeah, he meant that, yeah. It's loads of people in a cave who there's people with puppets of actual things with a fire behind it and the shadows being reflected on a cave wall, and you're looking at a pocket pussy and you think it's real, but it's actually someone holding the shape of a pocket pussy up against a backlit and it's being reflected. You're like, and you think that's real. To break out philosophically, you have to get out the cave and realize these are all concepts and ideas, basically. right?
So it's deconstructionist.
Yes,
Yeah.
basically. It's the kind of beginning of all those sort of things. Can we know what these things really are? Like, that is a table, is it? Or is it kind of a variation on the idea of a table?
Yeah, like right now, I'm perceiving you as very boring.
Yeah.
But are you just... Are you
But that's your
boring?
perception of boring.
Yeah, yeah.
But then
it's your perception of a good first date.
It's my perception of a good first date. It's your perception of boring, but your...
Hello, my name's
that's in
Rachel. Is
reference
this really a table?
to the perfect
I'm not
ideal of
I'm
boring.
not going to fuck you anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're doing that in reference to the idea of the ultimate... Of the boring.
Right.
Of the ultimate form of the boring.
And the ultimate form of boring is unknowable until I get out of the cave?
Yeah.
Right. So it's even more boring outside.
Yeah.
Right.
Can we get the image up?
But this is basically the Matrix, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah, there's the beginning of that stuff, for sure. You see that?
Yeah, right. So is that like...
So the sheeple there, you're seeing a pot, you're seeing a bird, you're seeing a tree.
Yeah.
But that's actually just the form of a tree, a bird, and a pot.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it means either, by the way.
But then what I don't understand is this basically essentially some guys on Reddit being like, you won't believe who actually did 9/11.
Yeah.
The towers are going down and you're eating the propaganda.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like those people who post like on Facebook, you know, there's loads of sheep going one way and you're a wolf going the other way. You know, you're going against the herd.
Yeah.
Right. That's the first one of these.
Right. Okay. I still don't understand.
No, I have no idea.
Okay.
Absolutely no idea.
Maybe you're not meant to.
And then Aristotle, he believes that you gain all this knowledge because Plato has this big idea. It's rationalism, that you can sort of think of these things using your mind. Mm-hmm. You can go into your mind palace.
Yeah.
And you could sort of, but Aristotle's all about lived experience. So you can know something by experiencing it and kind of, basically the real world's real.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So identity politics.
Yes.
So you're only allowed to talk about stuff if you
lived
lived it.
experience.
Yeah.
Right? It's you know, he posted the black square.
Right.
And he said all this to Alexander the Great and he was like, brilliant, so I'm going to chop loads of people's heads off.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Different strokes.
Right. I think that's philosophy done.
That's philosophy done.
Yeah.
Theatre we touched on.
Yeah.
So the height of Athenian power is generally considered 460 to 430. Again, we're going backwards for all the dum-dums. Pericles. Oh, architecture. We haven't touched on that. All the grotty old ruins you see now in Greece, which is Greece, to give it its proper name.
Yeah, yeah. Grotty old ruins, Greece.
Yeah. Now,
that's how the word Greece came from, grotty old ruins.
Grotty old ruins, Greece.
Yeah.
Again, the golden age of architecture above the ground, sewage systems
the big
underground.
thing is the Greek pillar. That's probably the longest lasting architectural thing they're given.
Which the Romans then take, right?
A lot of
the Romans take the Greek stuff, don't they?
Well, what it is would you see yourself as more of a Roman, wouldn't you, than a Greek?
Hey?
Would you say you're
They're
more
the ones
of a
with the
Roman?
Nazi salutes. yeah, I'm Roman, I guess.
Because what it is the Greeks were sort of like, I don't know, it was a vegan cafe where they're all wearing like multicolored stuff. They're neurodivergent, autistic, artistic people, right?
Yep.
They're all they're adults in a crash.
It's a Soho theatre bar,
right?
And
then the Romans are kind of militant accountants who will chop your heads off.
Yep.
Who basically just stole all the stuff they've done.
Yep.
And said, that seems pretty good. And then they took over the whole world.
Yeah.
That's kind of the difference between Greeks and Romans, right?
Right. Yeah.
They're just sitting in a playpen developing all these ideas. And the Romans are like, we're Nazis, but we'll just take all the aesthetics.
Yeah. Great.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. We nearly touched on something interesting there.
The Romans used a big brush to clean their bums after using the bathroom. A sea sponge. Now, people still use sea sponges to clean their bodies today.
Comedian, shout out Stuart McPherson, has a funny bit about this. Was it Stuart McPherson? Which is, it's amazing how we've come so far in technology, but the brush on a stick, we've never developed further than that. Like a toilet brush.
Yeah.
It is interesting that we haven't come up with something new.
But what else could it be?
Well, surely Elon Musk could think of something, right?
No, I mean, you need to get shit off of porcelain.
Yeah, but surely there's better ways to do it.
I don't know.
Than a shitty stick.
Well, yeah, but what else could it be? You need
but
the control.
you're stuck in the cave.
No. I'm looking outside the cave going, it's better in the cave.
What?
So I can scrape shit off a wall in the cave.
So you think that we'll never come up with something better than a brush on a stick to clean shit off?
It's a bit like the difference between a manual and an automatic car.
If you don't have a toilet brush, can you put up a toilet by using a combination of cleaning agents like vinegar and bleach? Yeah.
Firstly, right.
Well, I'm not chucking baking soda down there, Charlie.
Exactly. You don't want to get baking soda in your bathroom. This is Greek stuff now. My point is, it's a bit like an automatic and a manual car. In an automatic car is, on paper, better, but you have less control of the car. right?
Right.
I like being able to, this is a hill, I'm going to put it into second rather than...
So you like doing stick shift when you're cleaning shit out of your loo?
Stick shit is the same thing, right? You need the leverage to actually work the shit off the interior of the bowl.
What do you think I'm suggesting?
I think you're suggesting some kind of automated robot thing that won't
Japanese.
it won't work. You know, dishwashers, you're going to have to use the amount of salt you're going to have to put in your toilet to give it the cleaning consistency.
A power washer?
Sorry, you're doing a shit, you're then unplugging. You know, have you thought about when you spray a pressure washer and the amount of stuff that like shoots in your face?
Yeah.
Because you're trying to get shit away.
No, but I've only just thought about this today. Like, give me another couple of days. I'll think of something better.
I don't think...
This is my first idea, was a power washer.
Yeah, I don't think you're... I think power washing your shit...
What about less strong power washer? Or like you can turn it on...
But that's just a flush, isn't it?
Yeah. I guess seeing you basically getting like a laser gun and shooting your toilet off you shut
Or it'd be like you put the toilet brush is just a extension that you put on like a drill and you...
What
but then the shit would fly everywhere.
What I don't want is I don't want a stick that still has the shit on it.
I tell you what you want.
What?
You want to put the shitty stick in something that then cleans the shitty stick
that's
and
smart.
keeps it away from the toilet.
And then it flushes down the same pipe.
The water.
I want it away.
Yeah.
Get away.
I know you're not Greek. I get it. You're not a Greek man.
Or maybe just smash jars in there.
Yeah, maybe that'll work. Just
shards
get an office paper bin and just shove a fucking...
Charlie's been waiting to say something for ages.
Well, you can just treat the porcelain like your bum. So you just wipe the toilet with paper.
I feel we're still...
So that does actually get rid of it.
But now I don't want to do that.
Why not?
Either. I think that's...
The first thing
it's a bit degrading.
The first thing you're doing is you're trying to pee the poo off the... Everyone does that, right?
Yeah.
You're trying to pee
Which is the same concept as the power washer, right?
Yeah.
Because can you not get a thin stream similar to a really hard piss?
Mate, I get it. You've got a small dick. That's why we didn't... You came
I'm a gentleman.
Your whole topic...
Yeah.
We didn't even get to any Athenian culture last episode because you've got an agenda, which is I've got a small dick and I'm proud of it. Will you just drop it? Some of us
a lot of people do think I'm agender because I was for my cockers. That's a problem.
Some of us weren't born as blessed as you.
A lot of people think I'm a hermaphrodite because they're like, he's got neither. No, I've got a cock is very small.
Some of us have got big, clunky, cumbersome dicks.
Saying I've got an agenda. I do have a gender. It's male, so I don't care what people say.
Some of us have got big, cumbersome, clunky dicks that we...
If only horrible, massive cock.
I'm currently crowdfunding my penile reduction surgery.
A vulgar...
The whole reason I started this Patreon was to make my dick smaller.
A vulgar big Greek nose of a cock.
Anyway, this is the golden age of Athens. So the architecture.
Yeah. The Acropolis. I went to Athens recently.
Fucking hell, that's what I was trying to get to.
Yeah, the Acropolis.
Yeah.
Right? Which people think that was like...
Did you need a wee or a poo while you were at the Acropolis?
No, I saved it till I got home.
Yeah, of course. So the Acropolis is the Parthenon. That's the big ruin at the top of the mountain.
There's loads of temples up there. The Parthenon was the most amazing thing anyone's seen. It was a temple to Athena, but it wasn't like where everyone hung out. By the way, people think that was like the center of town.
No,
that was still the Agora, which is their idea of the forum, the marketplace.
Which you can't eat even those loads of food stalls.
Which is weird,
right? Yeah.
Surely you have those little tables.
Yeah, like a beer hall.
Like benches,
Yeah, benches.
I don't know how that didn't come in.
Anyway.
But this was just like sort of, you can see it, you can still see it everywhere you're in Greece. You see the Parthenon.
Ruins?
Yeah.
Oh, Parthenon, sorry. Right. Yeah.
But it was built after they won the Persian War, right? But they also...
Right, so Pericles starts this building, city building stuff.
The Parthenon was, but there also was loads of stuff in the Acropolis before the Persians came and burnt it all down.
The Acropolis is the citadel, it's the mountain?
The Acropolis is the flat surface at the top of that
mountain.
Like table mountain type thing where they build all this shit on.
Yeah, right.
And the Parthenon is the most famous building there. But they've got loads of shit going on there.
And then the Brits, during the Ottoman Empire, many centuries later...
This is one of my favourite bits.
The Brits come, and because the Turks are being they're a bit loud, a bit rambunctious, a bit naughty, a guy called Lord Elgin, over a period of years, takes the statues from the Parthenon to safekeeping in Britain. And
it's a complicated one.
They're still in the British Museum now. They're called the Elgin Marbles.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a complicated one because I think with a lot of British Museum stuff, which has now been... It's quite a hot topic now, right? Everyone's talking about the British Museum.
Yeah.
That they've got everything in there but British stuff. It's ironic. They've stolen everything, right?
It's a crime scene, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. We've heard it all before.
Yeah. At least the toilets work.
Yeah, it's a complicated one because there definitely was a lot of loot and there's a lot of stuff stolen, but it's more complicated than that. The thing is, it was like we invented modern autism, the British Empire, right? Mm-hmm. Which is caring about the ancient world.
Yeah.
Taking the like Charles Darwin collecting all those bugs and stuff.
Yeah.
All these archaeologists caring about this shit. No one gave a fuck about that stuff at the time.
Yeah.
They do now, but that's because autism spread from Britain.
Everyone's autistic.
Yeah, now it's spread. Now everyone cares about this stuff, but they didn't at the time. Mm-hmm. The Parthenon during the Ottoman Empire was used as an ammo storage. So the reason why most of the fuckedness of the ruins actually is because they were keeping TNT dynamite or whatever in there,
right? And
it exploded and blew up half of the Parthenon.
Right. So
it was being looted constantly. There was no respect for it at the time. Admittedly, it was occupied by Ottomans, but there wasn't this idea of Greek.
Where shall we put explosive dynamite? Put it in beautiful
brilliant. Just put it in this amazing storehouse for dynamite.
It's fine. It's excellent dynamite. Will not blow up.
Blow up half of it.
No.
So the thing about British Museum is a lot of the stuff they have taken, they have preserved, which otherwise would have been looted or stolen.
Or blown up.
Yes.
Yeah.
The question is, now, should you give it back? Is a different question.
I guess the question is, have the Greeks, sorted out their plumbing?
Yeah.
Are they still near some Turks that are going to blow something up?
Yeah.
How trustworthy are they with the marbles? I guess is the question.
And they used to have a shit museum, right, next to it. And the Brits would always point at this shit museum.
Well, it's a museum with nothing in it, which is, to be fair... I guess their argument would be, you've got all the stuff, so can we have it back so this museum has some stuff in it?
Yeah. And we'd say, you can't take care of these properly, very patronisingly.
Yes.
They've now gone and built one of the best museums I've seen of this type with what they've got remaining of the Parthenon.
Yeah.
They've taken a lot of it and rebuilt it with it inside so you can really see it. And they've got all the bits that are missing with like stand-in freezes. So you can see,
okay.
You can actually see where the stuff's meant to be. And we've taken a lot of the good shit, I'll tell you that.
Right, we've taken all the best bits.
What's your actual view on the Elgin marbles?
What's my actual view?
Yeah.
It's the Elgin stuff.
Yeah.
That's my favourite period of history.
Right.
When Brits were basically...
stealing shit
and patronising people. Yeah. I know that what's quite funny is that there is like government departments set up on how to... work out some way where the British can give them back without losing face. That seems to be the main issue.
Oh, because it's a sign of it's like the Falklands. If we let that go, it'd be a symbolic.
Exactly. It was all for nothing. But there's also something about how if the Brits give it back, then they are admitting they were wrong to take it. And they don't want to do that. So they're trying to work out a way of going, well, yeah, you can have it on loan from us. And the Greeks are like, no, you stole it, so I'm not going to loan back my own stuff.
You can't loan it to the Greeks because they're going to give it back.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you have to send military in and we're fighting Greece over some marbles, and that's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing for them because we're going to win within a day.
Yeah, I know, but also you can't march in for
What
are
they
going
to do? They're going to run out of bullets, they're going to throw their poop ins at us, and then they've got nothing left. They've got no other tactics. All right?
My view is, can we not just give them a lot of it back?
Also,
we don't need all of it. Like some of it, I'll be like, you can have that, you can have that. Let's just keep it little.
If D-Day was against Greece, right, there wouldn't be bunkers with machine guns. It would be fat men on plastic chairs on the top of a beach going, it's so hot today. Not today. Oh, please, not today. I don't want to fight today. It's too hot.
But France has bits of the Parthenon. Russia's bits of the Parthenon.
Really?
Yeah, they do.
Why don't they get any shit?
Because we've got loads of them. We've got loads of it. I just think we should give most of it back and keep some of it. Because also... more people go to the British Museum than they go to Athens.
Do you know what I reckon? I reckon we should do? We should just take the rest of the Parthenon and build it in England. I reckon we don't have enough of it. That's the problem.
Right.
I think they can't be trusted with the Parthenon itself. Okay. So I think we take that and we build it on a hill somewhere. Right. I'm thinking...
We're saying you wipe your ass with pottery.
Gloucester.
You cannot be trusted to keep a Parthenon.
I'm saying if it's 2025 and you're still wiping your ass and putting it in an office bin, you can't be trusted with anything.
Yeah.
Right. So I reckon we build it somewhere in Gloucester, right, where, it's not going to get vandalised. Lots of hills. Yeah. We build the Parthenon there. So tourists can then do Stonehenge, Parthenon in a day, bish bash bosh, all the old rocks. We've seen it.
Exactly, yeah. So if, like rock tourism, you just put it all together. Yeah,
we'd have like a sort of autistic tour package that we put together for...
so the Parthenon right next to Stonehenge, dwarfing the Stonehenge.
Yeah, exactly.
What else would you want to steal? Pyramids?
Do you know what? Or straight swap, they can have Stonehenge and we'll have the Parthenon.
Would you prefer the Parthenon?
I think it's more impressive.
Yeah, I think so.
I've been to Athens to go to the islands. I've not really seen any of the stuff.
Right. So you're going to negotiate a deal that they get Stonehenge?
I think they should send me in.
Yeah.
Say, do you know what? We're now asking for the entire Parthenon.
Yeah. Well, I think asking is the wrong thing.
You can have Stonehenge.
I think taking.
I think you can only be trusted with Stonehenge.
They'll try and wipe their ass with it.
Yeah. If I know anything, they'll smash it to shit.
They'll be like, I can't swap the Parthenon for some toilet paper. It's not toilet paper.
it's Stonehenge, you idiots. No, that's like bulk buying toilet paper. I need you to smash it to wipe my ass with it. I don't want to do that. Right. We should talk about the decline.
Right.
We've clearly covered the rise.
We've covered everything.
The peak era. So, the Peloponnesian War,
which is between Athens and Sparta.
Yeah, this is big. Now Sparta had already
Alpha Chads.
They'd been together. Sparta are big guys.
I mean, they're all just psychotic. They're David Goggins. Is who Sparta.
They're Greek David Goggins.
Yeah, they're like.
They're
and
Davos,
also the reason why we have nothing of Sparta
Davos
is because they weren't building any nice buildings.
No, they were just killing everyone.
They were just killing everyone. Everyone was David Goggins. I mean,
terrifying.
They would put their babies in the forest so they'd come back stronger. It's like pull yourself up by your nappy.
They are optimizing
straps.
Everything. They've got Whoop monitors. They're drinking supplements.
Up at 4 a.m.
Yeah, they're those
athletic
guys.
greens.
They're those guys.
Yeah.
I imagine their plumbing is spectacular.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think they give a fuck. They're shitting in the air. They don't give a fuck. Right. They're shitting on their enemies.
Of course.
They're using Athenians' heads to wipe their ass.
They're diagenetic.
Yes.
They're shitting on people who insult them. So Peloponnesian War breaks out when basically the Delian League, which we did brush on last time.
Well, we did.
That's the bunch of...
You can't say we didn't.
The bunch of city-states. They form a league, British like the EU. They start to get angry at Athens because Athens is like, oh, look at us, look at us, and
then to be honest,
we're so clever, we shit in...
I bet the Spartans used some pretty inflammatory homophobic language.
They probably did.
Yeah.
Probably called
Which obviously didn't mean what it does now.
Probably called them all pedos.
Yeah. They probably said a lot of nasty things. Because if Athenians are all inventing philosophy and theatre, and these guys... You better believe it's some pretty colourful language they're using to describe
Look at these dirty bottom paedophiles. Let's go invade.
Yeah.
Spartan boys trained in the Agoge, the David Goggins, a military-style education
David
program.
Agoges.
Began at 7. So 7 to 12, you're encouraged to use violence against each other, including sexual violence. Well, there you go. Listen.
So it's two quite... I mean, they're similar and they're different, the Spartans and the Greeks.
Listen,
they've got different approaches to the same problem.
It's all Greek, isn't it?
Right.
Isn't it? So
boys were encouraged to rape each other.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Seldom bathed, again, give them one cloaked year.
It's quite amazing that this is just like a city slightly north of Athens. Athens inventing theatre, and Sparta are like, right, as soon as you turn 8, you got to rape your brother.
Yeah.
Well, that's quite Greek.
Again, it's quite Greek.
But do you think that back then the impact of being paedophiled would be less severe? Like, do you think the fact nowadays it's like, fuck me, it's horrific. But back then, do you think it was like, well, everyone's doing this?
Wait, what were you about to say? Fuck me, I've been paedophiled. So who's this? Is this a victim of paedophilia?
Yes.
Fucking hell, I've been paedophiled.
Who's this guy? This sort of works at like Billingsgate market. Oh, fucking hell, got paedophiled, didn't I?
I'd say the phrase "I've been paedophiled" probably stopped being used about 100 years ago.
What I'm saying is, like back then, do you imagine that the impact of being sexually abused would have been much less?
Well, it's not abuse, is it? In those days,
it's heavy petting, right?
It's just a hug.
But are you feeling that like I'm now,
Well, you have no idea what trauma means. Every day you're potentially dying of plague. Everyone stinks. It's such a brutal life. It probably still wasn't great, but you got bigger fish to fry.
It probably was.
You have no fish to fry.
More painful given that you were wiping your ass with pottery.
Yeah, like it's a different time, is what I think.
So anyway, to please, I mean, this has really been the golden age of bots, hasn't it? This series. But the decline of Athens' golden period begins with the Peloponnesian War, 431. Athens and Sparta, that's big conflict. It goes on for fucking ages, 30 years. But within a year, essentially the Athenian tactic was to defense, not offense, because Athens had the best navy. Sparta had to cross the water to get to them, so they were just like, no, not getting in. We're locking ourselves within the walls, right? So get everyone together, everyone in from the countryside, everyone in, closing the doors, closing the gates, last one in. No,
there's an Edinburgh Fringe Festival's going on, right?
Yeah, and then basically COVID happens.
Yes,
because they're all packed in, and COVID kills Pericles. It's like the Great Plague of Athens is actually the first recorded ever plague in human history.
Really?
The first one that we know, we have information about.
Oh, fuck.
Because also, we should have touched on this given that we've done nearly 2 hours, but it's also the birth of historical writing.
Herodotus
and Eucidides, Herodotus,
you fucking me?
Some dirty bum cunt, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, those two, they start writing about history.
Because Herodotus is considered the father of history.
Yeah, he's on the rest of history.
So he's to blame for this.
He's the one with Dominic Sandbrook.
Yes.
Yeah, right. So Sandbrook and Herodotus, they do the rest of history.
Yeah. We followed the Diogenes line.
We're Diogenes. Yeah, that is what this podcast is. Yeah.
The rest of history comes from the long lineage of Herodotus. We're from the guy shitting in the theatre.
Yeah, exactly. You can trace our roots back to that guy. So the plague starts, and what's quite funny is that they have so much information about it that they have no idea what it was. Because there's lots of schools of thought, like, was it typhus? Was it bacterial?
School of thought.
Was it whatever? But basically, one guy wrote down every symptom of anyone that had a cold and has come up with this list, which is like, your dick fell off, your head exploded, your ears went down, you went blind, you had a headache, you had a rash.
Your wife cheated on you.
It's basically AIDS, essentially. And it's unknown. Right. It's like terrifying symptoms. Everyone's dying. Like the morbidity rate's like 20%, 30%. And yet somehow it wipes them all out, and then they just carry on fighting Sparta for 20 years.
Yeah. But I mean, plagues, the Black Death, there's still people who just fucking
get on with it.
Get on with it. Who don't make such a big deal out of it.
Yeah. Average life expectancy in ancient Greece was 20 and 35.
I mean, wow.
But I guess
you've got to pack a lot in.
But I guess that's why is paedophilia not paedophilia, because if they live till they're 30, then by the time they're 10, for us in our life,
it's like dog years.
That's like exactly child years.
I'd say yes.
Right.
I would tentatively
say yes. Still bad.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
So that's what brings down the golden age of Athens.
Big plague. Everyone's dicks fall off, and then essentially that's 404 is kind of the end of the golden age. The philosophy all starts after that. They go, we've been defeated by Sparta, let's have a big think about things for a bit.
Yeah.
And then that basically they start sitting on chairs to think, and that slowly evolves into men sitting on chairs and not doing anything. Yeah. And that's Greece as it is today. So, I
don't know why you would, but any more questions in the comments below? I think we covered I
think we've essentially done the history of Greece.
Yeah.
In 2 hours.
Pretty impressive for people who aren't from Greece to know so much.
Exactly. Thanks for your support. If you'd like to support the show more and get a bonus episode every week, you can sign up to the Patreon and become a truther. You get a bonus episode every Friday. Other than that, thanks for listening.
We're going to have a private conversation about how I got AIDS.
Next time. Bye-bye.